At some point, you wanted something so badly it kept you up at night. Maybe it was a job, a person, a number in your bank account. Maybe it was something smaller, a phone, a car, an apartment with your name on the lease, and then you got it. And for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, it felt exactly like you thought it would. And then it didn't. And then you were just back. Same brain, same mornings, same low grade feeling that something is still missing. If that has ever happened to you, and it has happened to almost every human alive, you are not ungrateful. You are not broken. You are not chasing the wrong things. You are experiencing one of the oldest and most documented phenomena in all of psychology. And the reason it happens has almost nothing to do with what you have, and everything to do with what your brain was built for. Because your brain was not built for this world. It was built for a world that no longer exists. And until you understand that, nothing you get will ever feel like enough. For 300,000 years, your ancestors wanted almost nothing. Not because they were simple, not because they lacked ambition, but because desire, a real desire, requires imagination. And for most of human history, imagination was kept close to the ground. You wanted food, you found it. Your brain flooded with dopamine. You wanted shelter, you built it. Your brain rewarded you again. You wanted connection. You sat around a fire with the people you loved. And that was enough. That was genuinely, biologically enough. Anthropologist Marshall Solins called hunter-gatherer societies the original affluent people. Not because they had everything. They had almost nothing by our standards. But because what they wanted and what they had were almost always the same size. The gap between desire and reality, the gap where suffering lives, was small enough to step over. Then agriculture happened. Then ownership happened. Then comparison happened, and the gap got wider. And wider and wider. And somewhere along the way, your brain, the same brain that once celebrated finding a mango, got handed a phone that shows you the life of someone richer, thinner, more successful, more loved every 17 seconds. And it never learned how to handle that, because it was never supposed to. In 1978, psychologists Philip Brickman and Donald Campbell studied two groups of people: lottery winners, people who had just come into life-changing money, and accident survivors, people who had just become permanently paralyzed. 1 year later, both groups reported nearly identical levels of happiness. The lottery winners were not significantly happier. The accident survivors were not significantly more miserable. Both groups had returned almost exactly to where they started emotionally. Brickman called it the hedonic treadmill, the idea that no matter what happens to you, good or bad, your brain will adapt, reset, return to baseline, and then start wanting the next thing. Your brain does not experience what you have. It only experiences the distance between what you have and what it expects. Psychologist Sonia Lyubomirsky at the University of California spent decades studying happiness and found something that stops most people cold. Only 10% of your long-term happiness comes from your circumstances. The job, the money, the relationship, the apartment, 10%. The rest is internal. The rest is how you are trained to see what is already in front of you. Your ancestors were not happier because life was easier. Life was brutal, dangerous, short. They were happier because their brains had not yet learned to want things they could not see. Here is what nobody tells you about wanting things. The wanting feels like it's about the thing, but it's not. It's about the distance, the chase, the almost, the version of you who has it. And the moment you close that distance, your brain, right on schedule, opens a new one. This is not a flaw in your character. This is a flaw in the software, designed for a world where wanting more kept you alive. Now running in a world where wanting more is slowly draining the life out of you. The ancient humans who sat around that fire did not need to practice gratitude. They did not need a journal prompt or a 5-step morning routine. They just looked at the fire and the people next to them and the sky above them. And it was enough because their brain had not yet been taught that it wasn't. You have been taught that it isn't. Every ad, every scroll, every comparison, teaching your brain to see a gap where there might actually be something whole. You are not chasing happiness. You are chasing a moving target that was designed specifically, deliberately, never to stop moving. And the first step off the treadmill is simply knowing it's there.